This episode is brought to you by Indie Film Hustle TV, the world's first streaming service dedicated to filmmakers, screenwriters, and content creators. Learn more at indiefilmhustle.tv. So it's something that you talk about in your book, which is Brothers McMullen 2.0. Can you break down what Brothers McMullen 2.0 is? Because it's something that I used extensively in my last two features.
Okay. So I'll back up a little bit because it's kind of interesting how my career kind of has panned out, right? So for my first four films, it's McMullen, She's the One, a movie called No Looking Back, which really didn't do well, and Sidewalks of New York. They all did, pretty well. And I credit that to the fact that I'm still a kid, a screenwriter, who believed in outlining before he wrote his scripts. I still am a student of the game. I am not so arrogant to think that I don't need to go back and kind of, play within a 3-act structure and really kind of have an outline that's airtight before I sit down to write, right? After that, I decide for whatever reason, whether it's laziness or arrogance, I stop outlining. And then I make 4 movies. And these are the 4 you probably never heard of, or maybe you have, most people would. Mm-hmm. Ash Wednesday, Looking for Kitty, The Groomsman, and Purple Violets, right? Mm-hmm. All 4 movies get terrible reviews. All 4 movies don't work at the box office. And then after that, I am in director's jail. Like I have my next script, and for about 2 years, I can't get it financed. I'm having a very tough time getting actors attached. At first we were looking for $8 million, then 6, then 4, then 2, then we're down to like 1.2. And Aaron and I have a meeting in the Hollywood Hills at some guy's house. And again, you joke about the guy with the cigar sticking out of the side of his mouth. Oh, no. One of those deals. And still, they're kind of telling me how I need to make this movie. And Aaron and I go back to the hotel I'm staying in LA, and we have a drink at the bar. And I'm like, it's over, man. Like, how did this happen? Like, it wasn't that long ago. I was the guy who made Brothers McMullen, and now we're up here, and this guy's telling us we got to rewrite the script based on his notes for $1 million. I said, it's over, man. We are in director's jail. Wow. And over those beers, we're kind of joked around like, how is it that when I was 24, I was able to write the Brothers McMullen, and with no connections and no money, and I didn't know how to make movies, I was able to make a movie that was, still to this day, my most financially successful film. I was like, then he was like, well, why don't we just do that again? So there on the napkin at the bar, we came up with McMullen 2.0, which was basically the rules were how we made McMullen, and we wouldn't divert from that. So $25,000 to get it in the can, 12 days of shooting, 3-man crew, all unknown actors. All actors had to bring their own wardrobe, had to do their own hair and makeup, and every location we had to get for free. All right, so that was basically, those were the rules. And the next day we sat down and we started, and we said, and we have to do an outline.
So you learned a little bit of those last 4 movies.
Yeah. We both loved The Graduate. I remember we were talking about the movie Sideways, which we both loved. And we're like, all right, it'll be 2 guys. Let's just start with 2 guys. And we just started riffing, and over time it turned into a kid and his uncle instead of 2 best friends. But, and that's why I think for people, like if they don't know what to write, or they kind of have an idea, but they need, sometimes it's okay to go look at one of your favorite films and almost start to tell your story within the framework of their story, right? Like you could look at, I know, let's say on Brothers McMullen, at a certain point when I was hitting the wall, I looked at Hannah and her sisters, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing here. He's kind of weaving those 3 stories together, and then they come together. It seems to be every 15 pages in the script. All right, so I got to cut and paste this scene and move it there. So that's a very valuable tool, I think, if you're a young screenwriter, because even if you rip off the structure of your favorite film for your first draft, you should do 20, 25 drafts of your script. By the time you do those 25 drafts, it would be unrecognizable if you're playing with some structure stuff. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, what was it called? 2.0. So that's what we did. We just started outlining and, script maybe in 6 months, and then said, let's go do it.
And then it was the first one on 2.0. Was that Nice Guy Johnny?
That was Nice Guy Johnny. Yep.
And that was $25,000. And then that did well, right? That actually. To watch the rest of this interview, head over to indiefilmhustle.com.